Are Sacramento area real estate prices still increasing? Did you hear about that crazy first-time home buyer assistance financing program? What's up with that? Is it a good time to buy a home or is it a good time to sell a home? And the question I got the most from my last video, is that a real foosball table? It's the April 2023 Sacramento real estate market update. Let's go. Welcome back to my channel. Now to answer the big question, I had two people actually ask me this last time. This is not a filter behind me. This is my home office, and that is a real foosball table. Hardly ever gets played. It's a tournament imperial butcher block table. Anyways, if you know what that is. So the real estate market in Sacramento, we're seeing it improving. We're seeing it doing what is typically going on in spring, where you see a lot of buyers coming out. The big problem has been and continues to be inventory is really low. And inventory is low because so many homeowners are locked into such a low interest rate that it defeats the purpose of selling. People aren't downsizing to save money because their new mortgage would be more than their current mortgage on their current place. Or it just doesn't make enough sense. Most of the homes that we're seeing out there is because of people moving, perhaps out of state, people moving out of the area, selling with their job, people selling an asset like a rental property, or ones that I do quite a bit of, which is probate, where somebody passed away and the estate is selling the home. So going forward, we're probably going to see a low inventory situation for quite a while. And I know that you're probably seeing some people out there predicting market crashes. That's all the time. I mean, in 2015, 2016, 2017, 2018, 2019, you can pick the year. I've had so many people say, oh, I saw some video of some guy who says he predicted the 2008 crash, that a big crash is coming. And you see those videos month after month, year after year. And all these people are probably doing is trying to sell you on some sort of a house flipping system. There's an ulterior motive. But what I'm going to do is I'm just going to show you data and let you know what I think. And we'll go from there. I'm a big advocate of home ownership. And if you go online and you look at any housing index graph, you'll see where housing ends up. And when you're talking about inflation, which we've been having a lot of inflation, and hopefully, most people watching this video know inflation is normal. We have that year over year over year over year. That's why prices continue to go up. That's why labor continues to go up. And if you think that home prices are going to magically fall, there has to be a reason for it. And when in California right now, if you have, say, a small piece of land, a quarter acre or smaller, and you already have the land, okay, you want to build a house? Well, you're $100,000 in permits and fees before you even break ground. And now you have labor. Labor is part of inflation. Don't expect new homes to go down significantly, or current homes to go down significantly, because new builds can't happen at a much cheaper price because labor is so expensive, because fees, all the bureaucracy is so much more expensive. And now new construction has to have fire suppression systems, the sprinklers inside the home, as well as solar. That brings up the price of new construction significantly. And for a long time, ever since emerging from the Great Recession, there's been a lag in new housing. There's really a housing crisis in California. And I'm not talking about the homeless population. I'm talking about that the demand for homes for people to purchase is way higher than the available homes. And a lot of that is a lag from the Great Recession, when a lot of home builders went out of business or just completely stopped building. Because why would they be building homes if they're not making a profit? So we're still feeling that. It's never caught up. Okay, so let's get into some information. So if you've watched my videos before, you know I like to start off with Mortgage News Daily. They share a lot of financial news regarding the mortgage world and real estate world, as well as they survey nationally mortgage brokers. So they put that average rate on their website every day, and it changes throughout the day. Mortgage rates constantly change throughout the day, just by small amounts, typically, sometimes by large amounts. So here it is, the average 30-year fixed rate. That's for a conventional mortgage, around 6.6%. Now, I'm not a loan officer, so I like to reference this particular website for that rate information. Last month, when I did my video, it was about maybe a quarter point lower. And there's a few reasons that I mentioned earlier why that happened. And mostly it's just lots of different economic data, and it changes all the time. So let's see. Let's go into the very first graphic. I'll try to get through this quickly. So this is real estate sales data for Sacramento County. I like to pick just one county, and Sacramento County tends to be one of the more uniform ones in size, as opposed to, say, El Dorado County or maybe Placer County, where you get into some mountainous regions with large parcels. And you have a pretty dense population in Sacramento County compared to some other ones around us. So these are homes on a quarter acre or smaller. That tends to be most common in Sacramento County. Okay, so you see a lot of months here, January of 2022 through March of 2023. And this goes through the end of March 23, as we are in April right now. So I don't have that data, but this report does indicate um, that the market is improving for value. Now, something I said in my video last month, and some people asked me about it when I said that the real estate market was getting better. What do I mean by that? To me, better means I'm looking out for value for current homeowners. I don't like to see homeowners losing equity. I like to see them gaining equity. And gaining equity is what happens most of the time. Historically, you can look at Federal Housing Index graphs if you want to see that. In fact, in most recessions, homes continued to improve in value. So here we are in the first graph. It's homes sold versus for sale versus pending. So in March of this year, there were this darker green is the sold homes. That's 764 homes sold, while there were only 614 actually for sale. And that's because the sold homes, well, that's when they actually closed. They were offered on and went pending in a previous month when there was more inventory. So now you're seeing them closing in this month. For sale homes, essentially that was what the inventory was during that particular time, lower than sold. And that's the first time that we've actually seen that happen since last year. Whereas if you see this graph going back, you go into February and the number for sale versus solds were higher. Same with January, February, and you go all the way back till May of last year. And that was the last time there were more homes for sale than sold in that same month. So we're about where April of last year was, which was just before the peak of the market, where it was doing that, where there were fewer homes for sale than sold. And again, that's because of pending sales start before homes are actually considered sold and closed. And you'll see that in March also, there's 862 homes pending. And that's also on the rise. So what does that tell you? This number in April for sold homes is going to be even higher. So the differences between month over month, year over year. So for sale, we are 18% down. Inventory is getting lower and lower, and that's what's been driving prices. Sold homes is 24% up month over month. Now, we usually do see an incline in sales this time of year. Now, year over year, 36% down for sale, 34% down sold. There's a lot less on the market. There are also fewer buyers out there. So for sale homes are down, sold homes are down. Okay, let's get to the next one here. Dollar per square foot. The average dollar per square foot for these types of homes on quarter acre or smaller in Sacramento County. Again, you're seeing a rise. March 23, we're up to $319. Now that's almost even with October of last year and close to January of last year as well. So, and that was an inclining market. So, if you were someone who at the beginning of January of 2022 and you're seeing this market that's getting out of control, maybe in your mind, and it continues to increase, well, we're about where we were in January, probably right now in April, because you saw all those homes that were pending increasing in the previous graph. We're probably about even with January of 2022 right now. So we're in an inclining value market here. Let's see, we are 3% up month over month, 8.5% down year over year. So March was definitely higher. April, May was about the peak last year. Now, this graph here shows two different pieces of data. It shows the average a home sold for the list price. So for a while, it was 104% of the list price. So above list price. And then it got down to about 94%. Now it's closer to list price. Now, all that really tells me is that sellers are pricing their homes more realistically to the market. That's not necessarily an indication of value. It's that they're pricing more correctly. The next one down is average days on market, consecutive days on market. So 46 is now the average from this last month, and that's been going down since well, that went down from February, and where February was even with January. Now you see, previously in the year, it was or last year about this time, it was quite a bit lower, and that was a very unusual market. Um, most homes, if they're priced right in our current market, they're still going pending within the first week or so. Typically, a home will be on market for about a week as agents are collecting the offers for it, then presenting offers, then maybe countering with multiple offers, or just cleaning up the one offer they got, perhaps by countering. So a home actually stays on market during that period of time. And then there's other homes that have been on the market for several months, and those are ones that are just not priced correctly. Okay, now we're going down to pricing for sale and pricing sold on average. So for sale, 617, sold 527. Now it's very normal for sale to be higher than sold. This part where back last year where this was reversing and sold was higher than for sale is very unusual. And as this line between the two separates, it just shows where unrealistic list prices and affordability are separating. But right now we're seeing sold and for sale rising together. So that shows an improving market as well. This last graph is the main reason why home prices are on the upswing, and it's because of inventory. There is less than 1 month of inventory. That means if no homes came on the market right now based on demand, there would be no homes left on the market before the month is even up, because there is 0.8 months worth of inventory on the market, equal to March of last year. So that is essentially 0% change year over year. And we are 33% down in inventory month over month. And I'll get into those reasons next. So there you see some real data that backs up what I think about the real estate market. It's continuing to improve. It often does this time of year, but it looks like we've gotten past that point of that dip that it was doing, and it may continue to rise and may flatten out. We may see some period of kind of stagnant pricing. Rates are moving around a bunch. I wouldn't expect rates to fall a whole lot more than they currently are. I wouldn't expect them to rise much more. Inflation has tapered off significantly from where it was. Now, if you think that it's going to be there's going to be some kind of a market crash, well, what is the reason for that? It's probably something you're possibly making up in your own head. It is always possible, but the two times that there's been any sort of major real estate market crashes in the past 100 years have been the Great Depression and the Great Recession. And those causes, the causes of both of those just aren't happening right now. And where we tend to see the market go down is when there are a lot of foreclosures, and it's the cause of that is an economy that where people are losing their jobs. So if they can't afford to make those payments, then we see a whole lot of foreclosures. But right now, foreclosures are near their all-time lows. So we're not seeing that in the marketplace. So really, I think it's a great time to buy. Now, that crazy first-time homebuyer assistance program thing I mentioned is something that multiple people had reached out to me about this past month. Cal HFA often puts these different first-time homebuyer assistance programs out. This one was called the Dreams for All program. Now, usually first-time homebuyer assistance programs are something like a grant or a loan on the back end of a real estate purchase for maybe 3.5% to 5% or something like that. But this one was a really big one. It was a 20% first-time homebuyer assistance program, but it had some features to it that gave some pause to some possible buyers that well, one, it's a 20% loan. Now it's a non-interest loan. They would have to pay it back once they sell the home, or after they refi a second time. You don't have to do that when you refi the first time. But there's also a 20% equity share. So whenever you either sell the home or your second refi, whatever that home improved in value by, you have to share 20% of that equity. So if someone was going for that, I would say, you want to actually try to get out of that loan as fast as possible so your equity share is smaller. But it was a good way for people who really needed that to get into a home or just increase their buying power. But like all these programs, they don't last very long because it takes a certain amount of funding. And in this one, there was 288 million in funding for it, and it was gone in 11 days. 2,564 buyers took advantage of it. But it is a program where it's a possibility that it's going to come back. It just needs to get more funding. And that is being talked about. So if you hear that that is coming back, the Dreams for All program, it might be something to look into. It might be something you want to take advantage of. There's a few other hoops to jump through. You have to do a home ownership course, and it's actually like it's like a kind of a real course, like kind of like traffic school in a way. It's not super short, but it is something that that loan program is something that can be very advantageous for a lot of buyers out there. And it's just something you want to jump on right away. Now, first time home buyer is someone who hasn't owned a home in the past 3 years. So even if you've owned a home before, you may still actually qualify as a first time home buyer. If you're looking to sell, it's also a really great time to sell. Homes are not hanging out on the market for very long as you're pricing realistically. You're maybe not getting so many offers that you're countering 15 offers or something like that. But there's a lot of multiple offer situations going on out there right now. I'm very optimistic about this current market. I was not for about most of last year, and right now it's looking a lot better. Looking forward to getting a few listings I have coming up on the market because I think they are going to do very well for my sellers. And if you ever want me to take a look at one of your homes, to see what I think about value, what you can do to improve value, and a good timing to be on the market, reach out to me. I'd love to take a look. And if you ever are looking to sell your home, a piece of advice that I like to give people is, interview agents, see what you like about their marketing and what they do. Don't necessarily go for the agent who just said the highest price, because the agent is not buying your house. If you go for the agent who is saying the highest price, ask them how they are going to achieve that. Because if they cannot achieve it, you cannot get it. And then you're sitting on the market for a while, and then you start getting lowballed, and then you end up getting less than you probably would have. I see it very frequently, and a lot of us agents know that if you go into a listing appointment and you say the highest price, they're probably going to pick you. But again, the agent's not buying your house. Someone else is. So how are they going to achieve it? And of course, that's what I always try to do is get the highest price, best terms for any of my clients. And if you ever have anyone going through probate, my team as long as there's real estate involved in this uncontested probate, my team will probate the entire estate at no fee, saving them tens of thousands of dollars typically, as long as we can sell the real estate that is valued at least $300,000 or more. We do that all throughout the state. My team actually does it in Nevada. I only do it in parts of California. My team does it throughout California. So reach out to me and I can tell you more about that. And it'll probably be done in record time. But of course, I represent regular sellers, regular buyers all the time as well. Thank you so much. I'm Brendan Mohr, the Realtor. I appreciate you watching the April 2023 Sacramento Real Estate Market Update.